The world doesn't wait for us. It moves at its own pace. And if we're not careful, we can find ourselves constantly chasing after it, running in circles. But what if the key to making everything come together is to stop running? What if instead of pushing, we learn to move in sync with the flow of life? The Stoics understood this deeply. Life is not about forcing things to happen, but about aligning ourselves with the natural order of the universe. When we stop demanding the world bend to our will, we create space for it to unfold in its own time, revealing the lessons, opportunities, and transformations we were meant to encounter. It's in the stillness, the patience, the quiet trust in the process that we start to see real progress. We stop worrying about what's next and start living in what is. And that shift, it's everything. If you're ready to stop fighting against time and begin embracing the rhythm of life, consider subscribing. This is your first step toward a life of alignment, purpose, and growth, just as the Stoics taught us. When you subscribe, you're committing to your own journey of self-discovery, discipline, and meaning. Let's walk that path together. The more you try to control something, the more it slips through your fingers. It's a cruel paradox that many of us struggle with every day. Think about it. When was the last time you tried to control something and it just didn't go the way you expected? The harder you gripped, the more it slipped away. The tighter your hold, the further it moved from you. That's the nature of control. The more you fight against the flow, the more you struggle. It's like trying to stop the tide from coming in by holding on to the shore. It's futile. But here's the thing. The moment you stop grasping so tightly, you begin to feel a shift. It's subtle at first, but it's there. It's the shift from chaos to calm, from struggle to ease. It's not that you stop caring or doing the work. It's that you let go of the need to control the outcome. You surrender to the process. And in that surrender, you find true control. You align yourself with the rhythm of life instead of fighting against it. There's a power in letting go, a quiet strength in releasing what you can't control and focusing only on what you can. When we stop forcing things to happen, we stop burning energy on resistance and we start conserving our power for what truly matters. Life doesn't need to be forced into submission. It unfolds in its own time, and it always has. It's the constant dance of action and surrender, of working without forcing, of preparing without desperation. As Carl Jung once said, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. That acceptance of our limitations, our humanity, and our inability to control everything around us is the first step to true empowerment. Once we accept that, we stop pushing so hard and we start finding a rhythm that works for us. We start aligning with the flow, not against it. You see, control doesn't come from dominance or force. It comes from understanding that you can't control everything, but you can control how you react, how you respond to life's challenges, how you move through the chaos. That's where the real power lies. It's the difference between struggling and flowing, between forcing and allowing. The world doesn't bend to our will, but when we stop fighting, we become more attuned to its rhythm. This doesn't mean doing nothing. It means acting with intention, purpose, and focus, but not from a place of anxiety or fear. It means doing everything as if it is the right thing at the right time, without the need for constant validation or outcomes. When we let go of control, we make space for growth. Growth that comes from patience, growth that comes from allowing things to unfold in their own time. It's about building a foundation strong enough to withstand the waves, not trying to stop the waves from coming. In a way, it's like standing on the edge of a river, watching the current flow. You can't control it, but you can adjust your footing. You can stand firm, and you can allow the flow to move around you. But how do we find this balance between control and surrender? It starts by acknowledging that life isn't a race. The world today pushes us to rush, to make quick decisions, to move faster, achieve more, and chase success. We believe that in order to succeed, we must be in control every step of the way. But the truth is, control only becomes a burden when we carry it everywhere, when we try to grip every aspect of our lives with tight hands. There's no room for growth in that. Life becomes a series of tasks to be ticked off, a checklist to be completed, instead of a journey to be experienced. By releasing the need for absolute control, we free ourselves from constant worry and pressure. We stop measuring our worth by our ability to manage every situation, every person, and every outcome. Instead, we start measuring our worth by our ability to stay true to ourselves, our values, and our purpose, no matter what is happening around us. This is the Stoic approach to life. It's not about controlling the events that happen to you, it's about controlling how you react to them. Marcus Aurelius put it simply, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Strength doesn't come from managing every little detail of life. It comes from the inner resilience to face whatever comes your way and remain aligned with your true self. When we give up the need to control every outcome, we stop burning our energy on things we can't change. Instead, we channel our energy into what matters most, our response to life, our ability to stay grounded, calm, and focused no matter what the world throws at us. That's where true power lies. It's in the moments when we let go and let life flow, knowing we are ready to meet it with a steady heart. When we stop trying to control the uncontrollable, we start to realize that we are part of something bigger, something beyond our limited perspective. We start to see the larger patterns at play, the way the world naturally shifts and moves, and we begin to align with that. The best part? We don't have to force it. When you let go of control, you allow yourself to see opportunities where before there were only obstacles. You open yourself to new possibilities, and in doing so, you start attracting what you need, not by chasing it, but by becoming ready for it. At the end of the day, life is a series of events that we can't fully control. What we can control is how we prepare for them, how we approach each moment, and how we choose to respond. By letting go of control, we allow ourselves to be guided by something greater, and in that guidance, we find our true strength.
Anxiety is a silent thief, creeping into your life and taking more than you realize. It's not loud, not obvious, but it's there, slowly stealing your peace, your clarity, and your energy. Ever noticed how everything seems a little heavier when you're anxious? Like you're carrying a weight, but you don't even realize it until it becomes unbearable. It's not just the physical tension or racing thoughts, it's the emotional drain, the constant feeling that something is wrong, even when everything appears fine on the surface. Anxiety doesn't just affect your mind, it consumes your whole being, leaving you feeling scattered, disconnected from the present. In a world that moves faster than we can keep up with, anxiety thrives on the constant rush of the future. It pulls you away from where you are and forces your focus to a time that hasn't even come yet, robbing you of the clarity and presence you need right now. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by all the what-ifs swirling around in your head. But the truth is, most of those fears are projections of things that haven't even happened. Anxiety pushes you into the future, but it does so with no guarantee that what you're worrying about will ever come true. It distorts your reality and steals your focus from what actually matters. It strips you of the ability to be present, to act with clarity and purpose. When you're caught in a cycle of anxiety, your mind isn't free to make decisions that are in alignment with who you truly are. Instead, you're making choices from a place of fear, from a place of uncertainty, and that's not where power lies. Power lies in the present moment, in choosing to act from a place of calm and self-assurance. As Carl Jung once said, "I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become." That choice is impossible when anxiety is in control, leading you down paths that aren't even yours to walk. The irony is that anxiety makes us feel like we're doing something about our problems. It tricks us into thinking that by worrying, we're preparing for something. But in reality, it does the opposite. It only pulls us further from our true power, from the ability to make decisions that are grounded in our values, not in our fears. When you live in the grip of anxiety, you're never really free. Your decisions are based on an imagined future, not on the present moment where true control exists. The key to overcoming anxiety isn't about fighting it. It's about understanding that it's not the future you're afraid of. It's the lack of control you feel over the present. Once you realize that, you stop giving anxiety the power it doesn't deserve. So, what can we do about it? How do we reclaim our peace, our clarity, and our ability to move through life with purpose instead of fear? It starts with acceptance. You have to accept that you can't control everything. Life is unpredictable, and that's okay. You don't have to have every step mapped out to make progress. Sometimes just taking a breath and allowing things to unfold naturally is the most powerful action you can take. You stop fighting against the current of life and begin to move with it. This isn't about being passive or avoiding responsibility. It's about aligning yourself with what's happening now, rather than worrying about what might happen. When you allow yourself to simply be in the present, anxiety has less room to take hold. You stop chasing after something that hasn't arrived, and instead you embrace what is already here. This shift in perspective takes practice, but it's worth it. It's about reclaiming your power, not by forcing things to happen, but by trusting the natural flow of life. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wisely said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Anxiety feeds off the future, but most of our fears are just stories we tell ourselves, stories that haven't yet come true. This doesn't mean you should avoid planning or preparing for the future. What it does mean is that you shouldn't let anxiety dominate your life, hijacking your peace and your ability to think clearly. By focusing on the present, you begin to align your actions with what you can control. You focus on what's in front of you right now, the decisions, the choices, the actions you can take today that will shape your future. It's a shift from feeling helpless to feeling empowered. You recognize that you have the ability to act, to choose, and to move forward in a way that is rooted in calm and clarity, not in fear. The need for perfection is a trap. It's a myth, an illusion that keeps you stuck in place, always reaching for an ideal version of ourselves, of our work, of our lives. We convince ourselves that if we just get everything perfect, then everything will finally fall into place. But the truth is, perfection never comes. It's a moving target, always just out of reach. And the harder we chase it, the more frustrated we become. The more we believe that perfection is the key to success, the further we push ourselves away from it. This is the trap. Perfection isn't what leads to progress. Progress comes from consistency, from showing up every day, doing the work, even when it's not perfect. When you let go of the need for perfection, you free yourself. You stop judging every step along the way, and instead you embrace the idea that every moment is part of the process. The missteps, the failures, the small victories, they're all part of the journey. Progress doesn't require perfection, it requires action. It requires that you keep moving even when things aren't ideal. So often we hesitate to take the next step because we feel like we don't have it all figured out. But perfection isn't the goal, progress is. Perfection is nothing more than a mirage, an illusion that keeps us from seeing the truth of our own potential. We've been taught that success is a polished, flawless version of reality. But that's not how life works. Life is messy, unpredictable, and full of bumps along the way. But it's in those imperfections that we find our strength. It's in the moments where we fall short that we learn, grow, and adapt.
When you let go of the need to be perfect, you embrace the truth that your imperfections are what make you real. They are the building blocks of who you were becoming. You don't need to wait until everything is perfect to move forward. You just need to start. It's about building the courage to take action, even when you don't have all the answers. The pursuit of perfection often holds us back. We get caught in the trap of waiting for the perfect time, the perfect conditions, the perfect opportunity. And in doing so, we miss the opportunities right in front of us. The most successful people in life aren't the ones who waited for the perfect moment.
They are the ones who took imperfect action, who embraced the process of learning and growing as they went along. Progress is built on consistency, not perfection. It's about showing up day after day, doing what you can, even if it's not flawless. Every step forward, no matter how small, is still progress. This is where the power lies. When you release the pressure to be perfect, you allow yourself the freedom to be human. You give yourself permission to fail, to stumble, to make mistakes. And with each mistake, you learn something new. You refine your approach, adapt your strategies, and keep moving forward. It's the act of moving forward, no matter the imperfections, that leads to growth. And that growth, that's what ultimately creates success. Perfection doesn't build character, progress does. It's in the small, consistent actions, the failures, the missteps, and the perseverance that you develop the strength and resilience needed to achieve your goals. This is the shift that needs to happen, from perfection to progress. In a world that constantly demands action, stillness feels like a revolutionary act. We are surrounded by noise, distractions, and endless to-do lists. Every moment seems to pull us in 1,000 directions, urging us to do more, achieve more, and keep moving. But in this frenzy, there's a power that's often overlooked, the power of stillness. It's not the absence of action, it's the presence of calm. It's the ability to pause, take a breath, and allow yourself the space to think clearly. In that stillness, you begin to hear the rhythm of the world around you. Instead of reacting impulsively to every challenge, you start to see things for what they truly are. And in that moment, you are free to choose your response from a place of clarity and inner peace. Stillness isn't about doing nothing, it's about being present with what is, without the constant pull of distractions. It's about creating space within yourself to process, to reflect, and to align your actions with your values. When you allow yourself to be still, you begin to see things you might have missed in the chaos. You hear the quiet whispers of intuition that guide you toward what really matters. You stop chasing after the next thing and start tuning in to the deeper rhythm of life. This stillness is a form of power, a power that comes not from force or speed, but from the ability to wait, to listen, and act when the time is right. As Carl Jung said, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." When you look within, you discover a deeper sense of purpose, clarity, and direction. In the rush to do more, we often forget that the most important actions come from a place of calm. We get caught in the trap of constant motion, thinking that if we just work harder, push more, or act faster, we'll find success. But the truth is, this frantic energy often leads us in circles. We might be moving, but we aren't always making progress. Stillness, on the other hand, allows you to find your center. It helps you align with your true purpose, making your actions more intentional and focused. When you're still, you don't waste energy on things that don't matter. You stop reacting to every external circumstance and start responding from a place of inner clarity. This is where real power lies, not in the noise, but in the quiet strength of stillness. We've been conditioned to believe that action is the key to success. But what if the secret to achieving your goals isn't doing more, but doing less? Doing what truly matters with intention and focus. Stillness allows you to sift through the noise, separating what's important from what's merely urgent. It gives you the space to reflect on your values, your priorities, and your long-term vision. When you're constantly on the go, it's easy to get lost in the demands of the moment. But when you allow yourself to be still, you reconnect with your deeper purpose. And that connection gives you the strength to act with precision and clarity. Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." The same can be said about stillness. It's not about eliminating all activity, but about learning to act with greater purpose, with fewer distractions and desires. How much of your life have you spent chasing something? Chasing success, love, validation, happiness? It's a constant cycle, isn't it? We run after these things, thinking that once we catch them, everything will fall into place. But here's the truth. The more you chase, the more elusive it becomes. The more you push, the further away it seems. This idea of chasing is deeply ingrained in our culture. We're taught to strive for more, to hustle, to be constantly on the move, always reaching for the next goal. But what if there's another way? What if instead of chasing, you simply aligned yourself with the life you desire? Imagine that for a moment. No frantic scrambling, no constant striving, just being present, just living in harmony with what you want. The universe, or life, whatever you choose to call it, isn't some random force working against you. It's designed to bring the right things to you, but only when you stop chasing. The moment you release the need to control every aspect of your life, that's when things begin to fall into place. It's not that you stop pursuing your dreams, far from it, but there's a difference between chasing something in desperation and aligning with it in purpose. When you chase, you're coming from a place of lack, of feeling like you don't have what you need. But when you align with life, you come from a place of abundance, of trust, and of knowing that the right things will come to you at the right time. As Carl Jung once said, you are what you do, not what you say you'll do. You align yourself with your desires through your actions, not your desperation.
When you stop chasing, you start attracting. The energy you put out into the world changes. Instead of pushing for something that feels just out of reach, you simply begin to embody the life you want. And as you do that, the right opportunities, the right people, and the right experiences naturally gravitate toward you. You've probably experienced it at some point in your life. When you're least expecting something, it arrives. When you stop obsessing over the outcome, that's when the outcome begins to unfold. This doesn't mean you sit back and do nothing. It means you stop forcing. You stop rushing. You begin to trust that life will bring you what you need when you're ready, not when you demand it. This shift in perspective is freeing. You no longer feel the pressure of constantly running after things. You become more present, more grounded in the here and now. Trust is a powerful thing, but it's not something that comes easily, especially when we want control. We live in a world that thrives on certainty, on knowing what's next, on being able to map out every detail. But the reality is, we can't predict everything, and that's where trust comes in. Trusting in the process doesn't mean having all the answers. It means showing up, doing the work, and believing that eventually the result will come. It's not about knowing the exact outcome. It's about having faith that the work you're doing, the effort you're putting in, will lead you where you need to go. Carl Jung once said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." In a sense, trusting the process is about accepting that you may not have control over everything, but that doesn't make you powerless. It makes you free. We often get so caught up in wanting to see the end result, to know exactly how everything will unfold, that we forget the beauty of the journey. Trusting the process means letting go of the anxiety around the future and instead focusing on the present. It means putting in the effort each day without worrying about when or even if the outcome will show up. It's the act of showing up, staying committed to your path, and believing that things will unfold when the time is right. Trust isn't a passive thing, though. It's a practice. It's the decision to keep moving forward even when you don't see immediate results. It's the ability to work with patience, knowing that progress is still being made even if it's not visible yet. When you trust the process, you stop fighting against it. Instead of resisting what is, you start working with the flow of life. Life isn't meant to be controlled. It's meant to be experienced, to be navigated with wisdom and patience. And when you try to control every aspect, you inevitably meet resistance. But when you trust, that resistance fades. You align with the natural rhythm of things, and that's when you begin to see progress. It's like planting a seed. You can't make it grow faster by constantly digging it up and checking on it. All you can do is water it, give it light, and trust that with time it will bloom. Patience is key in this process. Trust doesn't happen overnight. It's built over time through consistent effort and the willingness to let go of the need for immediate gratification.
And while it's hard to let go of control, it's when you do that that true freedom is found. When things are delayed, how do you react? Do you find yourself frustrated, annoyed, questioning why the world seems to be working against you? Or do you take a step back and see that delay as an opportunity? It's easy to get caught up in the emotion of waiting, to feel like everything is out of your control, like the world is testing you. But what if these delays weren't a setback at all? What if they were in fact a chance to grow, to refine your craft, and to prepare yourself for what's next? Every delay, no matter how inconvenient it seems in the moment, is not a rejection of your desires. It's a pause, a moment to deepen your readiness, to get even stronger for what's about to come your way. This perspective shift is incredibly powerful. It turns frustration into fuel and allows you to transform moments of waiting into moments of preparation. Instead of sitting in impatience, you use that time wisely. You prepare yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally for whatever comes next. The thing is, the world isn't holding back from you. It's not testing your patience just for the sake of it. There's a deeper rhythm to life, and sometimes the timing of things is beyond our control. Yet everything unfolds as it should at the right moment. The delay you feel could be a sign that you're not yet ready for the next step. It's not that you're being denied, it's that you're being prepared. Think of it like a tree that takes years to grow deep roots before it can stand tall. If it were rushed, if it were forced to grow too quickly, it wouldn't have the stability to weather the storms. Similarly, if you rush your journey, skipping over the periods of growth and refinement, you may find that you aren't ready to handle the success you seek when it finally arrives. In these moments of delay, your job is to prepare. This preparation doesn't always mean doing more. It means doing things with intention. It means working on strengthening your foundations, whether it's your skills, your mindset, or your emotional resilience. Think about it. How often do we focus on external achievements without first looking inward? The external world often seems to reflect our internal state. When we rush, when we're desperate for the outcome, we miss the subtle signs that we still have work to do. And that's okay. Patience is often misunderstood. It's not about sitting idle, waiting for something to happen without any action. No, patience is far more powerful than that. It's the quiet strength that resides within, the ability to wait without anxiety or frustration, to remain steady despite external pressures. In a world that constantly tells us to act now, to move quickly, to achieve as fast as possible, patience can feel like a burden. But what if instead of seeing patience as something that holds us back, we started seeing it as the true form of freedom? It's not just about waiting, it's about embracing the space in between, the moments where we have the chance to align ourselves with life's natural flow. When we stop forcing things to happen on our timeline, we open ourselves up to something much greater. Patience isn't about surrendering to delays, it's about aligning with them, trusting that everything unfolds in its own time. The Stoics understood this better than most. They didn't see patience as passivity or weakness, but as a powerful act of control. To be patient, to endure, is not to give up or settle for less. It's the opposite. It's about accepting the rhythm of life as it comes, understanding that not everything is within our control. As Marcus Aurelius once said, time is a river, and the moment is a part of that flow. The Stoic mindset teaches us to work with the flow of time, not against it. This is a subtle but important shift in perspective. Rather than resisting what's outside of our control, we learn to accept it, to make peace with the natural course of events. When we talk about patience, it's not just about waiting for something external to change. It's about working on ourselves in the meantime. It's about preparing for the opportunities that will inevitably come when the time is right. Just as a farmer plants seeds and waits for them to grow, we too must cultivate the patience to wait for the right conditions to come together. Think about it. What's the rush? Why should we hurry through life trying to get to the next destination without fully experiencing the journey? Patience teaches us to slow down, to appreciate the process, and to trust that the destination will arrive when we're ready for it. It's not about how fast we get there, but about being present for every step along the way. In fact, the power of patience lies in its ability to shape how we move through life. It allows us to navigate challenges with grace, to endure difficulties without losing our sense of purpose. We often hear people say, "I was just lucky," or "it wasn't my time yet." We've all used the word luck at some point to explain those moments when things seem to fall into place, when success appears out of nowhere. But if you look closely, you'll start to realize that luck is rarely as random as we think. In fact, luck, more often than not, is simply alignment in disguise. It's the convergence of preparation, patience, and timing. When we hear stories of successful people, we often attribute their achievements to luck, overlooking the years of work, preparation, and quiet persistence behind the scenes. The truth is, timing is never random. It's a force that moves in patterns, and when you sync yourself with that rhythm, you become part of something far greater than mere chance. So what does it mean to align with timing rather than wait for luck to find you? It means understanding that success doesn't just show up out of nowhere. It's not about sitting back and hoping the universe will grant you everything you desire. It's about preparing yourself in every moment for when the right time arrives. The timing of your life is not some mysterious force working against you, but rather something you can learn to move with, like the flow of a river. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." Everything we experience is in motion, and if we're not consciously aligning ourselves with that rhythm, we risk missing opportunities that are already within our reach. Imagine this. The moment you stop chasing, the moment you stop pushing for things to happen on your timeline, you start to recognize the patterns of life around you. You start to see how everything is connected, how things fall into place at just the right time. This isn't about waiting passively for good fortune. It's about positioning yourself so that when the right opportunities come, you're ready to seize them. It's about knowing that timing isn't some fluke. It's something you can prepare for and align with. It's the result of showing up, doing the work, and trusting that the right moment will come when you're ready for it. The universe doesn't rush. It reveals itself in its own time. What happens when you stop looking for luck? You begin to realize that your efforts are never wasted. Everything you do, every step you take, is contributing to your readiness for the moment when the door finally opens. When everything around you seems silent, when the noise of the world dies down and the rush of life pauses, what do you do with that time? Do you find yourself filled with doubt, questioning your choices, wondering if you're moving fast enough or achieving enough? Or do you see it as a moment of opportunity, a moment to build, to strengthen, to solidify the foundation beneath your feet? In our fast-paced world where everything is constantly moving, we often think that silence and stillness are a sign of stagnation. We worry that if we're not always doing something, we're falling behind. But what if I told you that these quiet moments are not signs of inactivity, but powerful opportunities for growth? The truth is, your strength is built in the quiet. It's in these still moments, when the world seems to stand still, that your character is shaped. Think about it for a moment. When life quiets down, when things seem to slow, it can feel like nothing is happening. But in reality, everything is happening. These moments are the perfect time to reinforce your inner strength, to dig deeper into your own resilience, and to prepare yourself for the challenges ahead. It's easy to get caught up in the noise of the world. We're told constantly to hustle, to move faster, to achieve more. But what if true strength isn't about constantly pushing forward? What if it's about knowing when to pause, to breathe, and to reflect? It's in the silence that we can hear ourselves clearly. It's in the quiet that we can listen to our thoughts, understand our emotions, and realign with our purpose. This is where real growth happens, not in the frantic chase for success, but in the steady, silent work of building your inner foundation. Surrendering isn't weakness, it's strength in disguise. We've all been told that surrender is about giving up, about letting go of control and allowing life to take its course. But what if we've been misunderstanding surrender all along? What if true strength lies not in fighting against life, but in surrendering to its flow? The act of surrender is not about giving up or resigning ourselves to fate. It's about releasing the need to control everything around us, to force life into the box of expectations we've built. It's about trusting the process, trusting the natural rhythm of life, and stepping into that flow with confidence. So often we find ourselves desperately trying to shape life into something that fits our desires, our expectations, or our timeline. We want things to happen when we want them, how we want them, and we struggle when life doesn't cooperate. But the more we force, the more resistance we encounter. We push, we fight, and we exhaust ourselves trying to make things happen. And yet, the harder we try to control everything, the more we feel like we're slipping away from the very things we're trying to hold on to. Carl Jung once said, "What you resist persists." It's a simple truth, but one that many of us fail to grasp until we're completely worn out. The things we try to control, our emotions, our relationships, our circumstances, are often the very things that end up controlling us. The harder we cling to them, the more we feed the very resistance that keeps them out of our grasp. But when we learn to let go of control, we step into a new kind of power. This power doesn't come from forcing outcomes, but from aligning ourselves with the natural order of things. How much of your energy is spent worrying about what you might be missing? If you've ever felt that gnawing sense of urgency to be everywhere, do everything, and chase every opportunity, you're not alone. It's a modern epidemic, the fear of missing out, or FOMO. It's the constant belief that if you're not actively pursuing something, then you're losing precious time, or worse, falling behind. But what if I told you that this constant chase is exactly what's keeping you from finding peace? What if instead of running after everything, you simply stopped for a moment and allowed life to come to you? The idea of missing out is deeply ingrained in our culture. We're told to be everywhere at once, to seize every opportunity, to grab the next big thing before it slips through our fingers. But in reality, it's not about being everywhere or doing everything. It's about being present where you are. Opportunities will come to you when you stop trying so hard to chase them. The universe has a way of aligning things for us, but only when we stop running from one thing to the next. It's when you stop chasing that life begins to reveal its own pace, its own rhythm, and you find that what you need has always been on its way to you. In many ways, letting go of FOMO is an act of faith. It requires you to trust that everything you need will come in its own time. We live in a world obsessed with speed and achievement, but sometimes the greatest thing you can do for yourself is to slow down and let life unfold. It's not about letting go of ambition or purpose. It's about letting go of the fear that if you're not constantly moving, you'll miss something important. What if everything in your life was determined by the internal laws you've set for yourself? Imagine that your peace, your happiness, your success, all of it hinges on how closely you align with the principles you live by. The external world, with all its chaos and unpredictability, can only disrupt your peace if you allow it to. If you live according to your own internal law, you stop reacting to everything around you. Instead, you become the calm that the world starts to reflect back at you. We often look to the outside world for validation, for control, for the things that we think will make us feel secure. But what if the real secret to peace lies within us, in the laws we create for ourselves? Think about the way we measure success. How much of that is shaped by external expectations? We live in a world that constantly tells us how we should act, what we should want, and what success should look like. But when we allow ourselves to be governed by these external influences, we lose sight of our true compass, the one that lies within. It's only when we return to our internal law that we find stability. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." This means that the peace and happiness you seek aren't dependent on the circumstances outside of you. They're dependent on your alignment with who you truly are, with your own internal principles. When you live according to your own values, you stop being swept up in the external chaos. Instead of reacting to every shift and change around you, you respond from a place of inner peace. Preparation is a word that most of us associate with action. We think of it as checking off lists, setting goals, and making sure everything is in place. But what if preparation isn't about the things you do, but about the state of mind you cultivate. What if true preparation is about developing the internal structure to handle whatever comes next, no matter how unexpected or challenging? The more you prepare in this way, the less anxiety you feel about the future. The chaos of the unknown doesn't grip you because deep inside you know you're ready. Not because you have all the answers, but because you've trained yourself to stay grounded no matter what happens. Most people spend their lives preparing for the future in the wrong way. We believe that if we just take the right actions, follow the perfect plan, and ensure everything goes as expected, we'll be ready. But life doesn't always go according to plan. The future is unpredictable, and the true test comes not in our ability to control every variable, but in how we react when things don't go as expected. In the face of the unknown, the real preparation is your inner calm. It's your ability to stay steady when everything around you seems uncertain. True preparation is rooted in self-awareness. The more you understand yourself, your reactions, your tendencies, the better equipped you are to face the unknown. This isn't about getting things perfect or achieving a state of constant action. It's about training your mind to be calm, to be still, and to trust that no matter what, you have the ability to handle what life throws at you. In 2026, imagine yourself becoming a magnet. Not the kind that chases after things, desperately reaching out for success, love, or recognition, but the kind that quietly aligns with the flow of life. Too often we think we need to hustle, push, and force the world to give us what we want. We believe that success comes from non-stop action, that we need to chase after opportunities and fight for them. But what if the key to attracting everything you've ever desired is to stop the chase? What if the real power lies in becoming the type of person who draws everything you want to you effortlessly? The truth is, you already are a magnet. The energy you put out into the world shapes what comes back to you. But too many people spend their lives pushing, forcing, and trying to control every outcome. They worry about the future, fret about what might go wrong, and in doing so, they push away the very things they desire most. The energy of worry and anxiety repels the opportunities that are meant for you. But when you stop worrying, when you stop pushing and start aligning yourself with what's already in motion, you begin to attract everything you've been waiting for. It's about creating space within yourself to be open, to stop trying to control the flow and instead trust that what's meant for you will come when the time is right. It's a shift in mindset, from the idea that you need to chase things to the understanding that what you need is already on its way. It's about being the right person at the right moment, not by force, but by presence. When you align with the rhythm of life, opportunities, people, and circumstances begin to flow toward you like a current, pulling you forward without you having to fight against it. In our pursuit of success, happiness, and fulfillment, we often forget one simple but profound truth. The harder we push against the natural current of life, the more we resist, the more we struggle. We feel this resistance in our relationships, in our careers, in the way we engage with the world. The constant striving, the hustle, the push to do more, to be more, it's exhausting. Yet when we step back and reflect, we see that life doesn't demand this constant struggle. The world doesn't ask us to push against it, it asks us to flow with it. Life is not a race, it's a journey, and the key to unlocking the power of this journey lies in embracing the flow. The more we resist, the more we feel disconnected. The more we align, the more we feel connected to something greater than ourselves. When you align with the flow of life, you find peace in the present moment. You stop worrying about the future because you trust that everything will come when it's supposed to. You stop regretting the past because you know that it's all part of your journey. You start living in the now, fully present, fully engaged with the world around you. And as you embrace the flow, you'll begin to notice a shift in your energy. You'll find that things start to come to you more easily. The right people, the right opportunities, the right circumstances, they'll all seem to appear out of nowhere. But in reality, they were always there. You just had to stop resisting and start aligning with them. This is the power of alignment. The more you align with the flow of life, the more life aligns with you. The more you trust, the more the universe will reveal its rhythm to you. And in that rhythm, you'll find peace, purpose, and success. Everything you need is already on its way to you. All you have to do is stop chasing it and start becoming the person who is ready to receive it. So as you move through 2026, ask yourself, am I going to continue to fight the current, or am I going to align with it? Am I going to continue to chase after what I think I need, or am I going to trust that everything I need is already on its way? The choice is yours. When you align with the flow of life, you become the magnet for everything you desire. You stop chasing, and instead you attract everything that's meant for you. And that, my friend, is the true power of life. Remember, life isn't something you need to chase, it's something you need to align with. When you stop running after it, you start attracting everything you've been waiting for. Trust in the process and let life come to you. And now, keep exploring your journey by checking out the next video on the screen. It's time to continue your transformation.